Hi everyone. Debt management can not only be daunting, but it also can be really confusing on where to begin. So today we're going to go over some tips and tricks for debt management. My name is Maria Hamill and I am the Learning Programs Coordinator here with Veterans Upward Bound. If you have any questions or concerns or want to chat about workshops, please feel free to email me with my email on the screen here. So today we're going to go over the different types of debt, tips to reduce your debt, and budgeting for debt repayment. All right, so there are many forms of debt, but here are a few common forms, such as student loans, credit card debt, mortgages, medical payments, personal loans, car loans, utilities, payday loans, and many more. All right, so let's jump into some debt reduction tips. So first off, it might seem pretty obvious, but we're going to take account of all of your debt. So what types of debt do you currently have? What are the interest rates on each loan? How much debt do you have in total? So you can accomplish this kind of on maybe a small piece of paper. We're going to go over a little later about a more formal budgeting way, but just to kind of get an idea of where you're at, you can write down the following. So in this example, we have our student loans and it has an interest rate of 7%. And then we have the total. We have our car loan, again, same format, the interest rate, and then the total, credit card, interest rate, total. And then we have totaled it up into the grand total of $30,908.99. Again, this is just an example, but it gives you an idea of, on paper, what we're working with and kind of seeing where we are. I totally get it. This can be very shocking to see your total. However, it is important to see what we have currently and what we're working with. Next up is considering debt consolidation. So what is debt consolidation? Debt consolidation rolls multiple debts into a single payment, and often it can produce a lower interest rate if you're eligible. So it is something to look into if that's something that applies to you. It could come with some pros and cons. We'll go over that in a minute. But I would discuss consolidation with the agency your loan is through. It could be helpful to some folks, so maybe something to look into. Like I said, there are some pros and cons to debt consolidation. I'll read off these on the graphic here because it's a little fuzzy, but the pros to debt consolidation are it can simplify your debt repayment, so into one payment instead of maybe multiple payments. You can get a fixed monthly payment. It may lower your interest rate. You can possibly repay your debt more quickly, and it may improve your credit. Some cons, as I mentioned before on the pros, that it may improve your credit, it may not. It is not a magic fix, and it avoids the root of the issue, which would be just paying back the loan. It can help some folks, and it definitely can make some improvements, but it is not a quick all fix. And another con is it might not be able to get a lower interest rate. So something to weigh when looking into debts consolidation. All right, the next tip to debt reduction are to take a look at your spending habits. So where are you spending your income? Where can you reduce some of your spending? It's important to be honest about what you're spending and where that money is going. I don't know about you, but for example, when I think about spending my money, when I pay in cash, I'm like, oh, I'm not spending any money. That's coming out of my bottom line. But it is important to be honest about what we're spending and where we're spending it, so that if we need to, we can make some adjustments to be able to pay maybe back our debt quicker, or maybe cut out some things. So we're going to go over this NerdWallet budget in a little bit here, but this is something that can be helpful when looking at how you're spending your money, is looking at this budget. Again, we're going to go over that budget more in depth here in the next couple slides. The next step is to see how much money you owe for your debt and how much you can pay back. So in order to do this, we're going to total up the minimum payments on your debt and your loan. So an example here of I have a student loan that I'm paying $250 for per month, and this is just the minimum. My car payment minimum is $200 a month. So in all, the minimum payments I'm making on all of my debt is $450. And when I say minimum payment, this is not paying any extra. This is how much debt that the debt agency is asking me for. This is not adding any more to make the debt go down quicker. Once we've figured out how much minimum payments we need to make on our debts per month, we can maybe determine how much extra we can put towards that debt payment to make the debt go down quicker. And if you're able to, maybe put additional funds towards loans each month. Again, we're going to go over maybe in depth a little bit more in that NerdWallet budget to see how to do this. So, since we've been talking about this budget, let's jump into it. I want to mention that you can access this budget through either the online NerdWallet budget. I'll make sure I have that link for you, or you can download the spreadsheet, and that will also be in the email of the workshop. All right. Sorry about that. Okay. So we're going to jump into this budget. Again, as I mentioned before, it will be available to you in the workshop or the email of this workshop. So let's go step by step into each section of this budget. So we're first going to put in our monthly income. This is your income after taxes or of your salary or your wages. So for this example, I put my monthly income as $3,000. You can also put any additional income that's coming to you, such as financial aid, child support, pension, etc. We next move on to your expenses, broken down by your needs. And this is on a monthly basis. So let's say we have our rent or mortgage we're putting in there. Different insurances. Again, these are all just random numbers. Let's say your garbage bill, car payment, gas, phone bill, things that you need to pay for on a monthly basis that are necessities. It will then total up all your necessities at the end. They also have a section for your wants, maybe such as dining out, clothing, gym memberships, etc. Then again, it totals up your amount. This is where the next section is where we're going to put any savings that we want to put aside or our debt repayments. So here you can see that I put my payments on my debt, and I would just say how much you want to put towards your debt or the minimum payment per se. So you can put anything that applies to you, and then totals it up. And then it totals up all of our expenses. So those needs, wants, and savings and debt repayment into a total amount. So it looks like per month I am spending $1,690 on my needs, wants, and debts. And then it shows me how much income I have remaining. So I have $1,310 left at the end of the day. So this money can be go towards savings or anything else I want to pay for. And this is important because you can see that maybe I have extra to put towards my debts, that I can get them paid off sooner. If I wasn't able to do this budget, maybe I didn't know that I had this amount left over at the end of the month. So this spreadsheet can be really helpful to see how much money you have remaining, how much you're spending on certain areas. Maybe we need to cut back on certain areas of our life and put that towards different savings or debt repayment. So these next two purple boxes over here are pretty cool because it also then breaks down where your money is going in your needs, wants, and then debt repayment. So you can see that the needs are definitely our highest amount, and oftentimes maybe we can't mess with that amount, so that's fine. But maybe we want to do a little bit more moving around of money in our wants, or putting some more money towards our saving and debt repayment. That's kind of on something that's personal to you and something that you need to make a decision on. But this spreadsheet gives you the tools to maybe determine where you want to put your money. And this last box here is pretty cool. This is the concept of the 50-30-20 comparison. This idea of the 50-30-20 comparison is a pretty popular idea in the finance world. So it is a suggestion of putting 50% of your income towards your needs, 30% towards your wants, and 20% towards savings and debt repayment. So I like this area of the spreadsheet because it breaks down the comparison percentages based on how your income. So based on my income of $3,000, 50% of my necessities could be going to, or could be in the amount of $1,500. I could have a budget from my monthly income of 30%, which is $900 towards my wants. And then 20% of my income per month would be $600 towards savings and debt. So taking a look at your totals box above this one, I see that I'm spending $250 on my debt repayment, when maybe I could be using $600 of my income towards debt repayment. So just something to think about. Again, this 50-30-20 comparison is not something that you need to live by per se. It's a suggestion, but maybe this would work for you. So again, this spreadsheet is really helpful, and I think it could help in many different budgeting scenarios other than debt repayment. So take a look at it. It could be useful to you. Again, it will be in the email of this workshop. All right. So the very last tip for debt reduction is a debt reduction strategy. I do want to mention that debt reduction is a case-by-case situation. Everybody's situation, finances, life experiences are different. So maybe these suggestions for debt repayment might not work for you, and that's okay. It is a case-by-case situation. Some popular strategies when it comes to debt reduction is paying off the highest interest rate first of your debt. So in this example I have here on the right-hand side, I have a car loan that's at a 3% interest rate with $17,000 in debt and a credit card balance of $2,000 with a 10% interest rate. Going off the popular strategy of paying the highest interest rate first, maybe I would consider paying my credit card off first because it has the highest interest rate. And the specific reason why maybe we're paying the highest interest rate first is because if you're going to let that debt move on to the next month and the month after that, it's going to accumulate more money tacked on to that $2,478 than maybe a lower interest rate would. So getting that cleared out first might be helpful to you. Another popular strategy is paying off the lowest balance first. So again, going back to our example, maybe I would pay the credit card debt off first because it's lower than the car loan. This way we can get that debt cleared out quickest, and then we can focus our energy on that longer term debt of a higher amount. I want to mention that sticking with your plan is important because if you're making payments towards your loans, you're making progress regardless. So it's important to stick with your plan and hopefully get that debt taken care of quickly. Lastly, if you have any questions, please reach out to someone through your debt agency, your mortgage loan, your student loans, see if there's any help available to you, or asking questions because, again, debt can be daunting and it can be confusing, and it's important to ask for help if you need it. Lastly, I want to mention that there is a one-time federal student debt relief fund out and about right now. This one-time debt relief is through the U.S. Department of Education as part of the Biden-Harris administration through their student debt relief plan. So unfortunately, the application for this debt relief has been closed, and it is blocked currently, and that is as of December 1st, 2022. But I do want to mention that this is something that's out there, and hopefully it will be resolved, and hopefully there'll be some aid coming to former students in the near future. But just wanted to let you know that the debt relief is blocked right now, but hopefully maybe something will happen in the future. Thank you. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to us at Veterans Upward Bound through our email, phone number, our website. If you have any questions about debt relief, if you need help getting in contact with someone regarding your debt, student debt, or any other types of debt, we can help and maybe put you in the right direction. Thank you, and hope this was helpful. Have a great day.